The subject of today's episode is a short-lived but incredibly violent cult that completely decimated a small farming village in Mexico in the 1960s. With an array of despicable acts ranging from selling their children, sex slavery, and murder, we'll see how two con artist brothers, a prostitute, and her pimp can turn a small, nondescript farming community into a mass of real-life, sex-crazed vampires through the use of simple magic tricks, drugs, and fear. And how it was all brought down by a 14-year-old boy, known as the Hernandez sect and featuring the High Priestess of Blood. Today we cover the cult of Yerba Buena. I'm Kevin Young.
And I'm Dan. My beard smells lovely today, Horgan.
And this is Torture.
I do think it smells lovely, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it does.
Very delicious.
I didn't know. I see. I've gotten the one of them that you have. I didn't. Trying to remember which ones you have. I didn't get the.
I can't remember it myself.
Yeah, poem or whatever it was.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten that one.
You and yours poem or something like that.
Something like that. We're talking about the beard scents that we get through the beardstruggle.com. And they are magnificent.
You can get your own special discount code from ourselves at the end of this episode, or hidden somewhere in the middle of it all, so you have to listen to the whole thing. Or go back and listen to the previous episode where Rally ad.
Unless you're one of our Patreon members who doesn't have to listen to the ads. So, it's worth looking into. So you don't have to hear our horrible ads.
Our ads are wonderful. Not have a bad word said about them.
So far, nobody said anything bad. No. But
it's good.
Yeah, that's good. Well, call to action. Everybody go rate and review us if you don't mind. It would help. I know we've asked for that a few times, but I'm asking again. Go rate and review.
Very quick and easy to do, to be fair. Doesn't take
it really
any amount of time at all, especially if you already have it open on your listening device. Pretty easy to go. Press. Done.
Obviously, not everybody listens to somewhere where you can rate and review, and that's fine, but a good portion of people listen on Apple, and you can rate and review there. So, I'm going to spend the first 2 minutes of this episode just kind of grinding in there. All right, Dan. Let's take a trip. All the way back to around late 1962, early 1963. And let's head down the Mexico way. Specifically, the state of San Luis Potosi and the small village of Yerba Buena. So, actually, calling Yerba Buena a village would be overly generous. It was technically an ejido, or a communal farm, consisting of only around 50 people. So, just very tiny.
Yeah.
No schools, no churches, no police, no hospitals. About 20 farming families, almost all of them illiterate, uneducated, and as we'll come to find, very gullible.
Is it like, what is it that would define a village? No way to be like a city. It has to have a cathedral or something like that, isn't it? So what?
When I was looking through, so 500 to 1,000 people, it looked like they considered a village, or in less than that, it was a ranchera. And then it kind of went up from there. But that was in, or a hamlet, if, in English. Well, we can find out.
Oh, it's just more curiosity than anything.
It's a good question. Okay, so a village is usually between 500 and 2,500 inhabitants. Anything smaller than that would be a hamlet. Anything bigger than that would be considered a town. I think it's a town until you get to like 10,000, and then it becomes a city, and then, you got a ways to go before you hit a metropolitan or, whatever. But this is even...
So right now it's just a farm.
Yeah, this is pretty much just one big communal farm. And it's only got, 50 people fucking living on it. That's men, women, and children included. So, not big.
There's that many people living on my street.
Yeah, I got more people who live on my between one block to the next than they do in their entire little area. So, whatever. There's also something to know about Yerba Buena is that the area is surrounded by caves. And in these caves, an old rumor or wives' tale of hidden gold. Now, I couldn't find any references to any type of expeditions or searches for said gold by the locals. They probably wouldn't have made it very far anyway if they had tried. Again, most were completely uneducated, and I don't mean to be harsh, but just plain dumb. Backwoods Mexican hillbillies that wouldn't know their ass from a hole in the ground.
They'll be called L hillbillies.
I mean, you might be wondering, why am I being so harsh? Well, by the end of this, you'll probably be calling them a bunch of dumb hicks, too. I have no sympathy for people who get involved with cults. I mean, the kids, obviously, it's not their fault. Parents do their shit. But for adults, I really don't. If you get involved with a cult, that's kind of on you. If you're that naive or desperate to find something with what meaning or what, I don't know what to tell you. I have no sympathy for people who join cults. I just don't.
We're looking at you, Catholics.
Scientologists and Mormons. Really, any religion is a cult.
Well, you never guess what the Spanish for idiots is, so we know going forward. That? Idiotas. Whatever way you pronounce it. Yeah, it's literally idiot, but with idiots, but with an A in between the T and the S.
Listen here, you idiota.
Yeah. That sounded like Australian there for a second. Ripper.
Yada yada.
Estúpido.
But anyway, that's just me. So I'm not being overly sympathetic to the plight of the vast majority of this. There'll be a handful of people that, yes, what happens to them is horrible, but still. And at some point you have your chance to get out of it and you don't take it, that's on you. I don't know if I can tell you. So if you're wondering why I'm being so harsh and calling them dumbasses, that's fucking why. Because I don't have sympathy for cult members. I just don't.
They're Estúpidos Agricultores. Or Agricultores. That's what it is. Stupid farmers.
Stupid fucking farmers. Now enter Santos and Cayetano, the Hernandez brothers. Now these two were also a real piece of shit. Just a couple of con men that traveled around central and eastern Mexico, scamming communities out of whatever they could and skipping town before they could get caught. Some places you look said, oh no, they're on the west coast. Other places say, oh, they're on the east coast. But fuck, if you look up Yerba Buena, like 4 different locations come up. So I went with the one that made the most sense geographically. So.
They sound like they should be in a Quentin Tarantino movie with the name.
The whole thing's just
their name.
Hateful Ocho.
Yeah.
Now, when they come across the tiny town of Yerba Buena, they come up with a much different con. Now, they decide to stroll into town, claiming to be prophets and high priests of, quote, the powerful and exalted Inca gods, In exchange for worship and tribute, the gods would gift them all the treasures the caves had to offer. Now, if the villagers had an entire brain among them, they would have seen through this little ruse, because the Incas were from Peru, not Mexico. Makes no sense for Inca priests to be in central Mexico. It needs to be a lot further south.
Estúpidos Agricultores.
Now, this showed that the Hernandez brothers were not the smartest themselves, but they were just slightly smarter than the villagers. And honestly, that's all you need. You just have to be a little bit smarter than the person you're conning, and you're good. So, with some simple magic tricks and persuasion, bolstering their claims with strange rituals that used cannabis-laced incense smoke and animal sacrifice, they would perform inside one of the caves. They had the majority of the community convinced. Now, I need to reiterate that these were very poor families. They had little to nothing as far as money went. They only sold a small amount of the corn and beans they could spare to the bigger cities nearby. So the brothers weren't going to get mega rich off of running this new religious cult they were building in the middle of bumfuck Mexico. So they demanded a different type of offering be brought to them, namely cannabis, peyote, and girls. Young girls. Like
filthy bastards.
14-year-old girls. The only ones that were there were the daughters of the farmers who lived there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, shame on you, Hermanos Hernandez. Whatever way around you say it. Fucking assholes. No time for that.
So, this is when the brothers had their fun. Some of those girls would, afterwards, they would sell off some of these girls to nearby cities as sex workers. But it wasn't only the young girls the brothers demanded sex from. Literally no one was safe from what they wanted. They went after the men, they went after the women, they went after the little girls. They didn't care. The brothers essentially had an entire community of slaves, sex and otherwise. Their rituals to try to convene with the gods would turn into nothing more than just mass drug-induced orgies where everyone was expected to participate. I mean, just a cave with like 50 people in there just going at it.
I say including the goats.
That comes later.
Okay.
That comes later. But the stupid and gullible don't always stay that way. After a few months of sacrifice, watching their loved ones be drugged and raped, their daughters be sold off into sex slavery, and still no treasure, a few of the farmers began to question if these brothers were actually prophets and high priests of the Inca gods at all. Like, you know, at first I was like, okay, but now, I mean, I don't know. I'm beginning to question the validity of your claims.
I don't think you're being honest.
Of an ancient Inca god from Peru. It's ridiculous. Sensing the jig might soon be up, Santos and Quitano told their followers that they needed to take a vision quest of sorts. That they needed to head up into the mountains and speak with their gods, and that they would soon return with their very own goddess. It's like, I don't think you're really an Inca priest. Whoa, well, you know what? We're going to have to leave for a while, but we'll come back and prove to you that we are. It's just...
You can't see what we're doing, but you know...
However, they did not head into the mountains. They went into the city to find a woman that didn't mind screwing over a bunch of farmers. So, let's take a break from Yerba Buena and the Hernandez brothers for a moment, and let's head to the city of Monterrey. the capital and largest city of the northeastern state of Nuevo León, Mexico, and the second largest city in Mexico behind Mexico City. It's a huge fucking place. It's like the LA to New York.
All right.
You have here. It's fucking huge. Yeah. Located at the foothills of the Sierra Madre Mountains, today Monterrey is seen as one of the most livable cities in all of Mexico, except for the fact that it's incredibly expensive. But as far as like quality of life and things to do and safety and all that, it's, one of the best places to live. But in the 1960s, it was just like any other major metropolitan area, riddled with crime and prostitutes. This is where we will meet Magdalena Solis. Unfortunately, much like the Hernandez brothers, we don't have really any information on Magdalena's early life from, birth to age 12, which pisses me off so fucking much.
You know why, though? It's obviously that she's an Incan god. Yes. So, she just is and was and always will be.
She's not an Inca goddess, and you'll find out why she's not an Inca goddess here in just a minute. Because she's smarter than the Hernandez brothers are. Again, maybe not by a whole lot, but by enough. If you listen to this show long enough, you know that I love to know every fucking detail of something that I can, and the fact that I can't find anything about any of the people involved in this except for the actual story itself drives me fucking crazy. It's like there's got to be something. Somebody somewhere had to write something. But no, Hernandez brothers never did like a biography or anything like that. You'll find out why in a little while. Magdalena never put out like a biography or anything like that. She was pretty close-lipped. Nobody who knew her before ever talked. It's infuriating to me.
You're the sort of guy, I think, that would be sitting there reading The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and have the Silmarillion open at the same time with a highlighter, double-checking everything you can as you're going along.
If you saw my computer screen when I researched this shit, you might go, I think that's a little much. Because I have every piece of information all open at the same time, and I'm cross-referencing like 5 different things to make sure, just like, okay, well that happened, and then that, but what happened before that? And you gotta go back and look. It's my problem. That's why my old podcast did not last very long, because the episodes were like 3 hours long.
Just reminding me of that guy. It's like, hi, my name is hi, I'm a podcast host, and this is Torture Facts with Kevin. You know your man, the airplane mechanic guy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
and then he gets into the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah,
2 cats that are coming in now.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Anyway, she most likely came from a poor and dysfunctional family born in or around 1947 in the state of Tamaulipas. Now, we're fairly certain the whole we are fairly certain of the whole poor and dysfunctional part, because when she was about 12, she moved to Monterrey to start sex work, which kind of explains the whole poor part. It's what a lot of poverty-stricken people do. Even today, they go into they become sex workers.
The oldest occupation in the world.
Pretty much. The fact that her older brother Eleazar was her pimp kind of explains the whole dysfunctional part.
Jesus.
Yeah, it doesn't say how much older he is. Again, something that I just looked for, tried to find anywhere where it says how old he was, just so I had a context of how much old. Like he was like 10 years older than her, or was he just like a year? Couldn't even find that. So, kind of
Just imagine him coming home. Hey sis, I got you a job. Hands her a pair of knee-high boots. Like, go on.
Just fishnets.
Like, how does that
just
happen?
Go walking.
Like, yeah. I don't understand how that could happen, but anyway. People
I would imagine it was probably more his idea to put her into sex work than her idea.
Yeah.
She does,
sitting
however,
there on the couch, stoned, like, "Wow, I got an idea. This is crazy. Got this idea." You shut up back there.
It's like, guys like sex. I bet they'd pay for it. And she's like, they probably would. It's the best idea ever. Nobody's ever thought of it before.
Let's open a family business.
Again, we should feel bad for her for having to do that when she's younger, but she turns into a megalomaniac, so you can always feel so bad for somebody.
That's true.
With this. Now, by the spring of 1963, she was about 16 and had found a couple of new tricks to pull. Not only was she a sex worker, but also a fortune teller and a medium, claiming to channel the spirits of long-dead Brujas. All of this, the dysfunctional family being used by men for their own pleasure, being sold off at night after night by your own brother, scraping and fighting for everything you have, scamming people regularly for whatever you can. This can do one of two things to a person. So one, it can make you empathetic to others that have or have gone through what you are going through, pushing you to make a difference and helping others so they don't have to live the same life you are, watching out for those that can't watch out for themselves. Or two, make you say, fuck it, I'm going to get mine no matter what, not caring about what others go through and how hard things are for them. As long as you can pull yourself out of the mud, who cares about anyone else? And when given the slightest bit of power, they wield it with an iron fist and punish those that don't fall in line. Dan, which one do you think describes Magdalena?
The one that sounds similar to Donald Trump.
Yes, it would be the second one, because if it was the first one, we wouldn't have much of a podcast now, would we?
No. Welcome to the Happy Fun Time Podcast with Dan and Kev.
I'm sure
we
that's
out
out
there.
there.
To talk about today. Magdalena did absolutely sweet FA. It's time to talk about the difference between Irish and American chocolate.
I'm sure that's out there. I'm sure that works for
Super
somebody.
Fun Time or whatever the hell I said.
Yes,
yeah.
But that's not for us. I don't think I'd have a good
Let's
time.
talk about happy things that people did, good deeds that people did, Friendly deeds done for free. Friendly deeds and they're done for free.
When the Hernandez brothers and Magdalena finally made up, it was a match made in pure hell. Solace and her brother followed the two prophets back to Yerba Buena, but this couldn't just be a, hey guys, look who we found type thing, just walk her into town and be like, oh yeah, she's a goddess, just believe us. We haven't been lying to you this entire time. She's a goddess. Yeah. So there had to be a certain level of magic and mysticism to it. So when Santos and Quitano returned to the farm, they told everyone that the goddess would grace them with her presence, but they had to perform a ritual first. So that evening, the villagers participated in the brothers' ritual, and at one point, the brothers produced a thick cloud of smoke. Just a simple smoke screen, probably the shit that you throw on the ground, the old fucking Batman bullshit.
Yeah. Those little cracker things, with the little paper things you throw on the ground. It's magic!
I call on the Inca gods! Just pull the string and confetti goes.
Yeah. You get the sparkler, one person running around the background. So that video, the kid with the sparkler going, somebody give me fire!
You light the little thing on the ground and just the snake, whatever it is, just starts coming out like, look at it! In awe!
Did you see the dog poop one of those?
Yes! Looks like a dog taking a shit. And it stains your sidewalk for the rest of time. That's nice. The miracle of the Inca gods. It'll stain your sidewalk.
Nice.
Anyway, once the smoke cleared, Magdalena stood before them, leaving the villagers in awe, because of fucking course it did. I see it.
I have this mental image of this little bit of smoke and her just running up behind it.
She's all out of breath.
Yeah.
She's like, hurt me twisting my ankle on the thing.
Hola!
I am your god. God damn my fucking ankle.
Yeah. She's sweating bullets.
Fuck. Dan, I have a confession to make. I have
crabs.
Beard dandruff. So close.
So much worse.
I know. Look away, I'm hideous. All seriousness. All serious.
All serious.
All serious. Me serious now. No funny. No. Frankenstein. No fire. Bad. Ah. In all seriousness, many of us men with facial hair have some sort of dry skin under their face fur. I have particularly dry skin, especially on my face, around my nose, my eyes, ears. That beard and mustache, they draw a ton of moisture from your skin in order to stay healthy, leaving the skin underneath sometimes dry, itchy, red, flaky, leading to the beard dandruff. And I struggled with it for quite a while. Struggled to, rein it in. Then I found thebeardstruggle.com. They use all natural products, never tested on animals, that your face, body, and beard will love.
They have day oils to protect your beard from UV rays and dirt and grime, and it keeps your skin from drying out. All the troubles the day can bring. And they have night oils to help moisturize and rejuvenate your skin and beard while you sleep. Not to mention, as of right now, they have 8 different fragrances. According to this.
That's what they tell me. That's what they tell me.
Do you want to know what they are?
I do. I want you to.
Ready?
I want you to pronounce them perfectly.
Okay. Here we go. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
From Alfheim's Forest, which has a scent of woodsy, leather and spices, to Hionir's Home,
Close enough.
scents of greenery, amber and musk, to Valhalla's Gates, with essences of citrus, amber, sandalwood and vanilla.
And right now I'm using the Aesir's Triumph, which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, which has the scent of sweet incense, tobacco, whiskey, and cinnamon, and my wife absolutely loves it. Of course, I haven't gotten one from them that she hasn't loved, so. And if you can't choose, just get the sample pack, which comes with 6 of their mainstay scents and 5 milliliter bottles of nighttime elixir, so you can decide what is best for you. But they have so much more than just oils. Balms, wax, shampoo, conditioner, butters, cologne, natural deodorant, skincare products, heated beard straighteners, combs, brushes, shaving kits, growth kits, merch. List goes on and on and on. No matter what kind, length, or style of facial hair you have, the Beard Struggle has the products you need.
You get a free gift for purchases over $50, then you get another free gift for purchases over $100, and all orders over $65 get free shipping. You have a 90-day money-back guarantee, so you really have nothing to lose. And be sure to use our exclusive coupon code TORTURE19 at checkout to get 19% off your entire order. That's TORTURE19 at checkout for 19% off your entire order.
TORTURE19 at checkout, or click on the link in the show notes. TheBeardStruggle.com. Do what's right for your beard. Do what's right for your face. So this formerly abused girl now held total power over the villagers, including the Hernandezes and her own brother. She was supplied with all the cannabis and peyote she wanted, which was apparently quite a lot, with the help of drugs and probably an already slight predisposition for delusion of grandeur. Saulus now really believed she was a goddess, specifically the reincarnation of the Aztec mother goddess, Coatlicue. So she was smart enough to know, no, it's Mexico.
Geography.
You fucking idiots. She, again, a little bit smarter than the rest of them. Now, under her reign, the cave rituals began to become even darker. Villagers were given peyote, either consensually or not, during the rituals, making them highly susceptible to her commands. These rituals, much like the ones the brothers held, would devolve into nothing more than drug-fueled orgies and animal sacrifice. However, Magdalena would demand that her followers engage in fetishism, incest, and get the goats, bestiality.
Oh, yeah. Human sacrifice along with an animal orgy. That sounds like quite good Saturday night.
Good times all around.
It's Tuesday evening for these lot.
Yeah. It sounds all, it's fine. It's whatever it is. Until she eventually started demanding young boys to rape and ordering the others to rape the children as well.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up now.
So, there goes all the fun. I mean, listen, you want to get all fucked up on peyote and have a huge orgy? Go right ahead. But leave the goats and the kids out of it. That's all I'm saying. Do whatever you want.
Well, no, look, you had me at goats. You lost me at the kids. Okay.
I say leave the kids and the goats out of it. But, to each their own, I guess. But yeah, that's when it starts becoming not cool, man. I mean, it was not cool, man, in the first place when the Hernandez brothers were, sleeping with the 14-year-old girls and selling them off. That's not cool. But with, the adults, if you all want to get high in a cave and fuck one another, you can go do whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. But leave the kids out of it.
Exactly. But, yeah. They always got to bring the kids into it, don't they?
Well, because that's how you get the power over the parents. Otherwise, if you don't control the kids,
sugar.
Can't control
then you get the power.
Yeah.
Then you get the woman.
Now, shortly after Magdalena took control, 2 of the men villagers decided that there was something wrong. You think? He's like, hey, wait a minute. Just 2 of them, just out of nowhere, like, hey, hold on here.
She didn't appear out of that smoke.
It's the, again, we bring up Family Guy, Star Wars, but when they're walking through the Sarlacc pit, and he's like, hey, or not the Sarlacc pit, the meteor that they land on that's actually, Meg.
Oh, the giant space worm meeting.
Yeah. And they're walking, they're like, and everything shakes, like, wait a minute. Hold on here. Something's not right. That's just what I imagine. But these 2 men were tired of the orgies and sacrifices and wanted out. They decided to flee the community. Unfortunately for them, Magdalena didn't take rejection very well. She labeled them as non-believers and ordered them captured. Then, through complete fear, she commanded her followers to beat and then lynch the 2 dissenters. So here comes the murder.
Oh, because they didn't want to get funky with it anymore.
Yeah. It's like, they probably weren't even like, I don't want anything to do with this anymore. They're probably just like, my Johnson hurts. I need a night off. Can I please take the night off?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you die now.
I'll take a break. Get me an ice pack. It's like, nope.
Grab some Gatorade. Rehydrate.
No. Yeah, and he does electrolytes back. It's like, nope.
It's just powder now. And I'm all out. It's just coming out as dust. Now, as with many, like Magdalena, the crimes begin to evolve and escalate to get more violent. Bored with simple orgies, she began to demand human sacrifice. She devised a blood ritual. The sacrificed, which was always a dissenting member, somebody who disagreed or told her no, they'd be brutally beaten, burned, cut, and hacked to pieces by all the members of the cult. Then she began practicing bloodletting, the victims made to bleed to death. The blood was then deposited into a cup and mixed with chicken blood. Why you would mix it with the most tainted blood of all the animals, I don't know. You have goats Mix it with goat blood. I don't know. Chicken blood, just all I can think of is salmonella. That's all I can think of is just salmonella. Magdalena drank from the chalice.
Sorry. Just to stop for a second. They clearly shown they're terrible at making choices here already. Okay. Right. So, yeah, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. That when it comes to a scenario choice between A or B, with B being the worst case you could go for, that they tend to go for B every single goddamn time so far.
You make a good point. I didn't think of it that way, but you make a good point.
Again, Estúpidos, Agricultores.
What should we mix this blood with to make it more appetizing? Oh, I know. More blood.
Chicken.
How about a chicken?
I'll tell you what, I like the taste of chicken. Yeah.
You know what's good? Those chicken nuggets they have at those new McDonald's that they have, down the road. Yeah. I bet their blood's good. It's probably not.
Actually, I know why they chose the chicken. It's the only animal they didn't stick it into at that stage. If they did, I could just have this image of a guy trying, and it's just the bird just trying to fly away, but it's stuck to him. So it's just...
It's like that strange wilderness with the turkey. Oh, fuck.
Never saw that.
No, you need to watch it. It's great.
Do I really?
No, you do. It's funny as shit. It's fucking funny as shit. Steve Zahn at his best. Oh, God, I haven't watched that movie in forever. Should we use goat blood? Nah, that thing's got syphilis now.
Chicken. Look at all those warts and shit hanging around its ass.
Use the chicken. So Magdalena would drink from the chalice and then give the drink to her priests, the Hernandez brothers, and, Eleazar. And finally then gave it to the other members, who would all drink from it, and presumably this gave them supernatural powers, I'm sorry, but if you're telling me I get supernatural powers from drinking blood and I can't fly, fuck off. It's not gonna happen. Of course, they're all high on peyote, so most of them probably thought they were flying anyway. So,
that's true.
Now, this is when Magdalena would acquire the nickname the High Priestess of Blood, which is, as horrible as this fucking story is, that is a pretty cool nickname. I'll give her that. You hear the High Priestess of Blood.
Yeah, it's pretty...
That's pretty fucking metal.
That's like D&D, BBEG.
Yeah.
Fucking... Yeah. Name.
Once we go through this door, we gotta fight the High Priestess of Blood, so everybody cover up your genitals, because she's gonna go right for it.
Yeah. Walk in, it's just this old Mexican woman. Hola, señores.
Everybody has taken off all their armor and put it around their crotch, just to make sure that she can't get to it. I got a plus 30 on armor, but just for this general area. Now, based on Aztec mythology, the blood was the only decent food for the gods. Through it, they preserved their immortality, and the goddess needed to drink blood to stay young forever, which is something, that's a ruse you could pull off for a while, since she's only a teenager. You can pull that off for a few years until you start to look a little older, and then I think that whole breaks away. But again, they're stupid. So
yeah,
I know.
But technically, it keeps you forever young, because drinking chicken blood's gonna kill you pretty quick.
I'll be young for as long as I drink this. Yes, you will.
Yeah.
Yes, you will. Now, not content with simply butchering her victims, Magdalena soon began copying ancient Aztec sacrificial rituals, cutting the hearts out of her victims while they're still alive. And this went on for the next 6 weeks, claiming at least 4 lives. Yes, this entire story lasts only a few months. Usually when we talk about cults, it's years long.
I was going to say, so far it's only Tuesday.
Yeah.
Monday.
Everybody's looking at it like, that has been a crazy weekend.
Yeah.
But
it's like an episode of 24.
With Synanon.
After every sacrifice, dum.
With like Synanon, you were looking at decades of shit going down. This literally takes place in like a spring. This is just, how are you going to spend your late winter, early spring? Oh,
that's the thing. They didn't have enough time to develop their own martial arts, obviously, either here. So
yeah, the High Priestess of Blood dough. I don't know what you would call it.
Synodo.
Now enter 14-year-old Sabastian Guerrero. Now, one May evening in 1963, young Sabastian was alone exploring some of the caves in the area, looking for lost treasure, as 14-year-old boys do. It's just kind of what 14-year-old boys do. They go out looking for shit. That's what you should be doing.
He's looking for some goats.
Oh, God, I hope not. I hope not. Looking for some chickens that hadn't been touched yet. He came across a cave with flickering lights and strange human sounds coming from it. He quietly looked in to see a gathering of villagers, many of them naked, engaging in sex, while others were passing around a chalice, drinking a dark fluid. So literally, every teenage boy's dream is just to walk up to a cave and find a bunch of people fucking in it. Like, this is awesome. Depending on what type of boy Sabastian Guerrero was. This is fucking awesome. True. But it would soon turn into every 14-year-old boy's absolute nightmare and just pure horror movie feels. At the far end of the cave, upon an elaborate altar, Sabastian saw where the dark fluid came from. A human being, hacked to pieces, the final drops of his blood being collected in chalices. Standing above them was a young woman holding the bleeding heart of a man who was lying on the altar. So it goes from fucking awesome to oh shit in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, 3 seconds, yeah. Hey, we said the same number.
Boom. Yeah. Sabastian took off like a shot. He ran over 15 miles to the town of Villagrán, the nearest police station. Tired and out of breath, he was barely able to tell them what he had just seen was real-life vampires. A group of them drinking blood out of cups in a cave. The police, as we've seen over and over, just completely incompetent, laughed at him. Told him it was his imagination gotten away from him. And we talked about a handful of times. The police are just practically useless.
Idiots. But they give us this show. Thank you for your service.
We wouldn't have any true crime podcasts if police officers did their fucking jobs. Oh well. So Inspector Luis Martinez offered to take him home in the morning, and on the way he could show him where he saw these supposed vampires. Well, when days went by and Guerrero and Martinez didn't return, the Villagrán police went to the state police. And on May 31st, 1963, the state police, along with a contingent of the army, went to Yerba Buena to find the missing officer and the boy. You have to imagine that they got the army to help find the police officer, not the boy.
Yeah, I was going to say, they really couldn't give a shit about the boy.
They did not give a fuck about the boy. There they found Magdalena, Elazar, and Santos in a farmhouse, quote, high off their faces, and in possession of large amounts of cannabis, which is a phrase we've heard before. The Solaces were promptly arrested, but Santos attempted to flee, so the police shot him dead. Don't run from me, die. Yeah. Seeing the massive armed force descending onto their little village and arresting their goddess, the rest of the villagers holed up in the surrounding caves. Now you would think at least some of them would welcome the police, their chance to finally get out of this cult for good. You would be wrong. It's one of the reasons
obviously we're having lots of fun, Kevin. You see, that's it.
I mean, apparently.
Lots of fun.
Selling your children off to sex slavery and getting high and getting, raped by God knows who. Yeah, good times. This is why I call them a bunch of fucking idiots. And I don't have any sympathy for them. Because they have a chance to give up these people who are, destroying their fucking lives. And they just don't do it.
Sounds pretty apt.
Yeah. So the villagers...
Pretty typical.
And the police and army engage in a shootout. And with the villagers massively outgunned, most of them died. But those who survived the shootout were taken into custody. Now, upon searching the farmhouse where the Solaces had been living, police found the bodies of Sabastian and Inspector Martinez. Their hearts cut from their bodies, probably while still alive. Now, search of the nearby caves yielded bodies of 6 more victims, many of whom had been dismembered. Cayanto Hernandez was also found dead, but the police would later learn that he had been murdered by another villager, Jesus Rubio. Now, Rubio had learned of the brothers' scam and wanted in. It wasn't, "You've been scamming us this whole time," and he murders them. He's like, "You've been scamming us this whole time? I want in." It's like, in on what? They're not getting really any money except for when they sell people to the nearby cities.
It just sounds like they're having a good time.
They're just having sex with everybody. You're already doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know what he wanted in on. But
he didn't want to be... he wanted to be the taker anymore. That's all it was.
It's like...
Yeah, that's what it is. Because all the people who are in on it, yeah, they're obviously the givers, not the takers. You see, so he was tired of being a taker.
They were whatever they wanted to be. If they wanted to be the taker, they would. But they were they were the pitchers. You were the catcher, pretty much. It's like, I don't want to be a catcher anymore. You let me be a pitcher. And they said no. So when he told them no, Rubio just murdered him.
Stabby.
Yeah. But with these people, I would imagine he'd just put on like a mustache and a hat and be like, "No, it's me. Jesus is gone. It's me, Hernandez."
Again, it's throwing the smoke bomb though.
Smoke Ow, I stubbed my toe.
I would have gotten away with it too. Wasn't for you pesky kids.
So the Solaces and the other villagers arrested in the raid stood trial in Ciudad Victoria, since none of the villagers would testify against them. And the main reason I don't feel bad for calling them fucking idiots, because you had a chance to put these people away for life and save your own skin, but they refused to do it. Magdalena and Eleazar were only convicted of the murders of Sabastian and Inspector Martinez, mainly because the dead bodies were found in the same house they were living in, and they were sentenced to 50 years each. The remaining villagers were convicted of group or gang murder or lynching for the other 6 victims and given 30-year sentences. It's like, hey, testify against this bitch and this douche, and you get off scot-free. Don't, and you're going to jail for the rest of your life. And they chose jail.
Just they're idiots.
Fucking
Estúpidos, Agricultores.
They know of at least 8 deaths, but suggested there could have been up to 15. I'm guessing that's probably because of so many of the kids and younger adults who had probably been sold off into sex slavery that they couldn't find anymore. So God knows what happened to them. It isn't known exactly what happened to Magdalena or her brother. If they served their time, they would have been released in 2013. However, some reports state that Magdalena died in prison. So, good for her. Makes us feel better that she can't be out, raping goats anymore.
Some say she was the inspiration for Madonna's Like a Surgeon.
I think it was Weird Al that did Like a Surgeon.
Oh yeah, Weird Al's Like a Surgeon. That's the one. I just say I always have. Whenever Like a Virgin comes on, I always think of Like a Surgeon straight away. Like a surgeon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you can't think of Michael Jackson without thinking of Weird Al either. So.
One thing I thought was really funny, actually, is completely off track here. Speaking of Michael Jackson, is in the video, isn't it Beat It, when he's in the pool hall?
Yeah.
And none of the pool tables are pool tables.
None of them have holes in them.
A pool hall. Yeah, they're just tables that they threw together because they couldn't rent a pool hall.
Why? Why I noticed that.
Yeah, I don't know, but
people pointed it out, obviously on the internet, and it's like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Why wouldn't you just use the regular pool tables? I mean, Michael, I'm sure he has his reasons. Talk about
that's true.
It does kind of fit in because we're talking about the whole raping of young boys, and that Michael Jackson.
Oh,
got him. Finally, somebody's gonna take down Michael Jackson. It's gonna be us. You see people on this douche on TikTok that's trying to tell everybody that Taylor Swift is as famous as Michael Jackson. Like, are you out of your goddamn mind? What the fuck is wrong with you?
When you look at it in... Right. So the only reason that that could be considered true, right, is probably down to the demand for ticket sales for the current tour thing to start, because apparently there's like 5 million people signed up or 15 million people signed up for the tickets or something, right? But if you think about it, in today's world, which is a hell of a lot smaller than when MJ was doing his thing, higher population, internet, all that stuff.
Yeah, everybody's connected.
Technically, the numbers would show, I'd say that, yeah, she'd be up there. But I'd say if they were both around the exact same time, there wouldn't be any competition. If you're taking both individually based on what their eras and all that stuff, then he would walk all over her respectively in terms of numbers, in terms of popularity and all that. She ain't the queen of pop.
No, she's not. If you take the fact that in Michael's time, especially at the height of his fame, it was harder to be known everywhere. Like, there wasn't social media, there wasn't the internet, there wasn't, people from different cultures and different countries connecting with one another, daily, as with this podcast. That everybody in the entire fucking world knew who this man was. People in tribes in the middle of Africa that have no communication with anyone outside of that tribe knew who fucking Michael Jackson was. Buddhist monks in temples that weren't allowed to, that just meditated all the time, knew who fucking Michael Jackson was without any help from social media.
Yep.
And the fact that people only know who Taylor Swift is because literally because of the age we live in.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it. Yeah, like back then, there's the whole thing of there's MJ, there's Elvis, and there's the Beatles, who are like the biggest things ever in the world for for a world that was as small as it, or as big as it was. They say, small as it was, as big as it was, considering it didn't have the connectivity and all that shit. So yeah, different world.
Yeah, it was a million times bigger.
Compared them to very different world.
Well, and I had seen something that I guess he went and performed. I don't know if it was India or one of the the countries over in the east, and he there was something to do with what type of concert, what type of entertainment could be shown to the people, and this and that or whatever, and they completely changed their constitution just so he would come and perform there.
Jesus.
He literally changed the rules of an entire country just so they could get him to perform there.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
No. They wouldn't do that for fucking Taylor Swift.
God, no, they wouldn't.
Taylor Swift's not even allowed to perform in
fucking idiot.
many countries because she's a woman and she'd be showing skin and she'd be singing, and that's not even allowed. But
she does. She does.
Nobody's gonna tell Michael Jackson he couldn't perform somewhere. Nowhere. He was Michael.
Yeah, that's like, yeah.
Then somebody had the gall to say, you put Taylor Swift and Michael Jackson on stage and have them have a dance competition, and Taylor would wipe the floor with them. Are you out of your goddamn mind? You think that almost anybody's going to outdance Michael Jackson? I don't know how the fuck we got on this conversation, because it has absolutely nothing to do with what we were talking about. I mean, this might be the furthest...
I can't remember.
This might be the furthest leap we've ever made to a different conversation. But still, from the High Priestess of Blood to Taylor Swift. Yeah, that makes sense.
Speaking of blood, I just thought of a nice, cool merch thing for here.
Oh, yeah?
For this. Do you remember the Los Polos Hernandez? Hermandos? Sorry, Los Polos Hermandos?
I have the apron, yes.
Well, like Hermanos, his brothers, is thinking the Hermano Hernandez Sangre de Polo. Which is chicken blood. The Hermanos Hernandez chicken blood. And the Sin and Dough pizza.
Sin and Dough pizza.
Yeah.
There's just dough flying up in the...
Yeah, he's spinning it in his hand like he's doing the karate chop thing, you know, spinning the... Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Anyway.
Brilliant.
I don't know how we got onto the tangent we got onto, but I'm sure it made perfect sense to go to where we went to. Anyway, thanks to our patrons, Inquisitor Willow Quinfowler, Cult Leader Dragabani, and our Torture Noob NX Sinister 26. Go follow us on Instagram, all the other social medias, at TorturePod. Email us, torturepod@gmail.com. If there's anything you would like for us to cover, if you have any comments, again, rate and review wherever you can. Apple, Good Pods, wherever they let you. Head over to our YouTube page, little snippets and excerpts from the show, and you can watch the entire show on there if that is your type of thing. Donate to us. You can either go to our link tree, which you can find on our socials, or you can go buymeacoffee.com/torturepod and buy us a coffee. And go to our Patreon, patreon.com/torturepod. You can get a free 7-day trial of our Cult Leader tier, so you can get some of the goodies, pretty much all of the goodies except for like the free merch and shit, and see if it's something you would like to do. And you can go to redbubble.com/people/torturepod and get some of our fucking merch. Like, if you can't see, but I'll post, like, I got we got the torture hats on, and I got the Gilda Ray hat day shirt.
I'd show my hoodie, but my cat's asleep on it.
Oh, well, don't wake the cat. We don't want to do that. No. Hint for our next episode: it works for soup, it works for pasta, it works for people. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. Dan, any words of wisdom?
Well, I have a couple of little things for you here. First of all, the nice little pop culture thing for you here is, you see my background?
Uh-huh.
For this is from a band that is named after Magdalena.
Oh, really?
So there is a band named after Magdalena Solis, whatever way you pronounce her name. I haven't been able to listen to them yet. Trying to find them. Apparently they're on Last FM, so I will check that out momentarily. Last time I played music of my thing, you could hear it because it deafened me, so I won't be doing that today. But my word of wisdom is, if in doubt, flush halfway through, people. Just to be sure.
Fuck yeah. I always do the courtesy flush. Especially if you're in public.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in public. If you're a public restroom.
You never know.
Yeah, you don't know what's coming. You know what's coming. Cut it off midway through and flush it down.
That's it. It might be a little bit on the boring side, but I think it's sound advice.
So far, all the advice you've given us has been sound.
Yeah. Oh, here's another thing as well. Another sort your fucking life out moment thing as well. Just in case anybody's watching this visually and they see the backgrounds. Firefly, if you haven't seen it, watch it. Kevin has Firefly as his background.
Yeah, I got the whole crew back there. Firefly, and I was thinking about that earlier.
New thing coming?
They had talked about doing like an animated show. I don't know if that's still happening or not.
Yes, that's the one I was thinking of. Yes, there's an animated thing coming.
The TV show is
new comic or some shit.
It was a travesty that was taken off after only a year, and then they did the movie, which the movie was all right. It wasn't. I don't think it was near as good as the TV show myself. You killed off.
Great though the show was so.
Yeah, you killed off one of the best characters, probably everybody's favorite character, which still hurts to see. But it is what it is.
Sadly.
No.
I don't know what else to say. I'm upset now.
Yeah,
watch Firefly.
We were good getting through all the child and goat rape, but now we're talking about the end of Firefly, and it's like we're depressed. You see where our fucking priorities lay.
Allison wasn't into it, sadly.
Yeah. All right, I think that's all we got. So, take care of yourselves and take care of one another. Take care of one. I talk for not for a living, but you pay. I talk. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another, and we'll see you.
Adios.